we've experienced nearly 11 years of positive growth in this economy. Does anybody know what the average bull market is in an economy? Anyone? Five to 7 years is the average, 5 to 7 years, okay? So we're well beyond where typically a bull market or a positive economy will correct. So there's a lot of experts that feel that we're going to see a correction very, very soon. We're long overdue, right? Matter of fact, the word that they're using is mini-recession.
There may be a correction in the offing at some point, middle of the year.
Well, we're concerned about the back half of the year, where there'll be more uncertainty again about the sustainability of a late cycle environment.
I think the market can fall 10 to 15%.
And when you look into 2020, the Fed is liquefying the balance sheet. And we think you're going to get a correction in the first half of next year and possibly the first couple months.
Now, here's my concern and here's the opportunity with that. My concern is in winter months, we already see, we just covered this, in winter months, we already see a decline in the number of homes sold by 30 to 40%. A mini recession will likely look like and could look like a 30% reduction in homes sold for a period of, could be anywhere from 6 months to 9 months to 18 months. It's hard to predict, okay? But looking back at previous mini recessions or market corrections, it's pretty safe to bet that it's going to be 6 months at least. So my concern is always that occurs in winter months. Now, I said that's my concern. It's also an opportunity. If you're preparing for that now by doing some of the things that we talk about, if you're preparing for it now, it looks like opportunity. Because as people's income and as folks, your competitors who have lived literally paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, like 85% of Americans, what happens when all of a sudden sales drop by 30% or worse, by 60%? What happens? They're out. Panic, and they're out, right? One of the things you look at, JCPenney went out of business, Sears is going out of business. How many of you remember when there was Montgomery Ward's? Right, that was more in my day, you probably don't. I'll explain it to you later. One of the things that killed Montgomery Ward's was when there was a recession, they pulled out of their marketing. And companies like Macy's, some of the bigger companies decided to double down on their marketing and branding, and they were able to gain the market share that Montgomery Ward's lost, because all of a sudden for the consumer, Macy's, at that time JCPenney's was high, and Sears was highly visible, and for the consumer, Montgomery Ward virtually disappeared. And so of course the consumer gravitated towards the other brands that were highly visible. So we've been focused on, as an organization, creating educational type content via videos, via blogs that address the consumer's top 30 questions or concerns about the buying or selling process. And if you're continuing to do so over the coming months, you'll have a library of content. If you've been putting money aside for marketing and branding, you'll have a library of content and the financial ability to stay really, really visible in a time period where many of your competitors are out and or radically pulling back on their expenses.
Because right now, sellers, what are they looking for right now? The cheapest. I mean, let's be, right now, everybody feels like, hey, if I just stick a sign in my yard, it's gonna sell if it's priced anywhere near market value. Buyers just want something that's available. But once a recession comes, sellers will be scared. They will be looking for the person that knows the most. They will be interested in finding an expert versus just finding somebody that will put a sign in the yard. It is a completely different ball game when they're sitting there looking at, I'm going to either have to come to the table with $10,000, do a short sale, or find the perfect person to market my house and maybe just break even. It is a very, very different conversation when you're sitting across the table. And if you are already known as the expert, then you're going to flourish during this time. We are actually excited for the market to turn. We can't wait.
Yeah, because look, buyers feel like they need us. Buyers feel like they need us because of the fact that inventory is so little, right? And so, look, a lot of agents who have only worked on their skills or the ability to work with buyers a lot of those agents are going to face a lot of frustration as the market becomes a market where we have 6, 7, 8 months inventory. All of a sudden, the urgency that buyers once had will be gone, will evaporate. So agents who have based their career on just following up with buyer leads and just working with buyers are going to really struggle as they find that it used to be you show 4 or 5 homes and your buyer is going to be ready or willing to write an offer. That's going to turn into more like 20 or 30. So a lot of things that'll happen in the marketplace, and like anything else, the best way to prepare for it is to anticipate the road ahead.